Who wants to host with me? I'm running behind. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on, Joe. Come on. Come on. Hurry up. Hurry up. Yes. Get in there, you. Ah, man. Got chaos here with the dogs. Chaos. Ah, Joan. All right. Is anybody in here? Dear God. I'm here on Twitter. Ugh. Okay, no one's here yet. No one's here yet. I don't know if anybody got my promotion. Come on, Truff. Are you going to sleep? You guys missed Guest Dog. You guys missed Guest Dog. Okay, here I am on the Saturday stream, and of course no one knows about it, but what are you going to do? Hopefully people drop in. Had to do this because tomorrow I may not be back in time to do the live stream at any sensible time. I may be back very late because of stuff I'm doing tomorrow. Amongst those things include going to Lucille's Country Cooking from 10 to 2 in Warren, New Jersey, so check me out there. And then various other places. I am also dog sitting with guest dog Truffle, and Joan is here, and she is very jealous. Now she's not, though, because she's sitting in my lap and getting a nice pet. Here's something, a pretty funny thing from the Nerdist that Neurotic posted. This didn't age well. There is no MCU, but maybe there should be. Posting Ms. Marvel, character nobody cares about. She-Hulk, a character they destroyed. Oh, JC did find me. Hi, hi, hi. JC got proof of my book the other day. Congratulations. Check out JEC's comic if you haven't already. He let me take a look at it. It was pretty good. And of course, Wanda, another character they ruined. God, they ruined that character. Wanda's supposed to be a good guy. They don't care. They don't care about these characters. They really don't. It's a shame. It's a shame. The creators are long dead, most of them. They just don't care. They just don't care. But finally, the chickens have come home to roost. And we don't have all the final numbers yet. We have some of them. And we can laugh. The Marvels drops from number 1 to number 4. Now, this is Friday. So take that for what it's worth. But by this metric, it's down 87% on a Friday since last Friday. Oh, that tastes delicious. Yeah, 87%. I don't expect the weekend to do much better. Saturday will be better, but will it beat the Hunger Games? No, no way. Hunger Games is at 19 million now, and is probably going to do... The Hunger Games might crack 40 mil. Trolls Band Together is already at 9.3. That might crack 20, maybe? Thanksgiving, a horror movie about Thanksgiving, I think it might crack 10. I don't know why people want to see a horror movie about the good holiday, the most excellent holiday, one dedicated to food. Yeah, I know. And then another movie that premiered this weekend is Next Goal Wins, which stars Michael Fassbender, and I forget who directed it. It's basically the Bad News Bears with soccer. I mean, that's it. It's like nearly exactly what it is. It doesn't look great. And it's weird that Michael Fassbender is in it, because it seemed like he was going to be the actor's actor for a while, and now he just has fallen into every mainstream project he can get his hands on. Like, he's going to be in David Fincher's The Killer, which looks kind of cool. But Next Goal Wins? What are you paying off a mansion? I don't know why he's in this movie. Seems totally wrong for him. He plays these English sophisticated characters, and now he's going to be a drunk soccer coach. Like, why wouldn't you get John Benjamin to play that? He's already done that in, what's the name? JC, maybe his kids like soccer or football. Football, as they call it in Europe. Wrong. I guess. I mean, possible. I don't really get. I don't really get celebrities that do that because they're such phonies to begin with. They're willing, seemingly, to compromise themselves in a variety of different ways and humiliate themselves. But then one day they say, "Hey, my kid's into soccer. I'll do a movie about soccer," even though it's totally wrong for me. I just don't see it. Right, Joan? Right. Maybe he's trying to lighten his image because he was Magneto. But, yeah, I don't see it. I think he should, Arden is here. Hello, fellows. Hello. I think he should, I mean, he had a lot of mileage as the actor's actor kind of guy. You know? I mean, granted he was in an X-Men movie, but he was in a good one. And he was good in a role. Like, he was even if that, I mean, I didn't really like that X-Men movie. The first one. The second one was better, right? There were two. Weren't there two? The one with Kevin Bacon and then the one with, and then Fassbender was in that, and then the second one. Anyhow, it's like, why would you, I don't know, degrade your brand by doing a movie like Next Goal Wins? And who directed that? Someone directed that I was surprised about. Next Goal Wins. JC, there were 3. Wait. Not the X-Men, not the ones with Phoenix and Nightcrawler and then the Beast. The other ones. The first Stand ones. The ones with McAvoy. There was 2 of them, right? I think. Oh, Taika Waititi directed this. See, this would have been funny, except I can't stand Taika Waititi anymore, so it kind of ruins it for me. All right, now I have to look it up. Michael Fassbender, here he is. Easy, Joan. Actor. Ardent. Fassbender, he was awesome in Jonah Hex. JC, Origins, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse. Oh, right, Apocalypse. That's the one I didn't see. Yeah, X-Men First Class. There he is. That's the one. Oh, he produced that one, too. Yeah, X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, there were 3 of those. Well, at least they weren't embarrassing. JC, you didn't miss anything. I like the Days of Future Past. That was a pretty good one. Only because the comic book is that good. One of Claremont's top comics. They did a pretty good adaptation of it, I guess. Are you okay? There you go. That better? Your breath stinks so bad, doggo. All right, away you go. Go play with Truffle and have a good time. These 2 don't really play. They kind of just Gesundheit. They kind of just like keep sleeping in each other's bed as a show of dominance, I think. JC, Apocalypse was embarrassing. It was. That's the one I didn't see, so good on me, I guess. So yeah, Taika Waititi directed Next Goal Wins. Yeah, if he had stuck to comedy, maybe this would have been a big deal. This just feels like, when the hell did he have time to even do this? You know. And why should I trust him anymore? You know, he's just been so I don't even know how to describe it. It's not even anger. It's like this weird sort of confrontational thing with the fans he has. And, you know, I liked Thor Ragnarok. He seemed to hit I don't know, something. A good balance there between it was funny, but it wasn't like embarrassing. And then he just drove it off a cliff. And now he's, you know, doing a Star Wars movie, I guess. Although I don't think he's doing it. I think it was pushed in. I think it was greenlit and it's in development, but these guys get money for doing things, or well, for pretending to do things. Ardent, Power Rangers villain looking Apocalypse. Ew. I never liked Apocalypse. Ardent, Ragnarok was fantastic. I thought so. Not only that, it kind of set up a movie they never did, which would have been the Hulk and Black Widow, which they should have done. I would have totally gone to see that movie. The Hulk and Black Widow would have been great. It mostly would have been a Hulk movie, but it would have been great with Scarlett Johansson running around as the femme fatale, trying to keep him from murdering everybody and trying to get his anger under control. And then they have like a love affair, but it doesn't work out kind of thing. That would have been a good movie. And they are stupid for not making it. They really are. And instead, they make Captain Marvel. Ugh. Totally pointless film that has now... You know, imagine if they had done that in lieu of Captain Marvel. Imagine if they had done a Hulk film with Black Widow. Ugh. Would have been gangbusters. It really would have. That would have made $1 million or more, because it would have had that romance element in it. And Scarlett Johansson was just all kinds of hot back then. Still is. And I know Ruffalo's not a great Hulk, but I liked him in Avengers. No, it's all right, doggies. It's all right. Truffle. No, it's okay. See that? Joan doesn't normally bark at things, but since Truffle's barking, they're freaking out. All right, hold on. All right, I'll let you go see. You can go see what the problem is. Go. All right, there you go. Sorry, live stream. Anyhow. Jesus. So excited. After Winter Soldier, they should have done a Widow movie as a deep espionage film. That would have been good too. And they should have done sexy Black Widow, not the short hair Black Widow. Should have went back to sexy Black Widow, you know, wearing cool dresses and stuff. That would have been awesome. But instead, they got woke, and they're going broke. Ardent, yeah, our two bigger dogs are pretty quiet, but little Bella is the instigator. Joan is normally pretty sedate, but you know, they're both here and they're both very excited. Hopefully, they don't pee anywhere. Anyhow, such is the Marvels, the state of the Marvels. I mean, it's just over. It's so over. And this movie kind of finally seals the deal. I think the only thing to do for Disney, if they want to continue with any of this nonsense, is just cut the budget. Like, cut the budget to nothing. Like, you're going to do another Young Avengers. Okay, you're going to do Young Avengers, right? And the problem would be, you've already set this bar with the CGI, right? And the superpowers. Well, most of the stupid characters you have lined up, you know, don't even have any superpowers like Ms. Marvel. So the first thing you do in the new movie is you introduce some situation where Ms. Marvel's having problems with her powers right out the gate. so you don't have to use them that much. Maybe use them at the end of the movie during the fight. Maybe that's part of the plot of the film. Ms. Marvel's losing her powers and dying, and they have to save her and whatever. Um, but I mean, I think that movie would be terrible. But if you made a terrible MCU movie and only spent $20 million on it, and the thing makes $40 million on the opening night, you're in money territory, right? You're at least in even. You're even out the gate, and then everything else is gravy. That's the problem. I mean, the rumor is they spent $330 million on the Marvels. Initially, they said 250, but this thing isn't even going to crack 100 mil domestically. It doesn't look that way. I mean, they're at 57 now. This thing, if this thing drops 87%, last week it made 47. Let's see. No, I wanted to, sorry, calculator. I had calendar. Yes, calculator. Okay. So we had 47 mil times, say it drops. So it would only make, it would drop, say, 40 million, which would mean this weekend, and it's already made 2.8 million today, or yesterday. So if this drop continues for the rest of the weekend, you're talking 7 million. That would be an utter disaster, going from 40 million to 7 million, or 47 million to 7 million. Ideally, it should only drop to about 22 million, but this thing looks like it's going to drop to like under 10. That's a disaster, which means you're only going to maybe crack, I don't know, you crack 65 mil this weekend, and you just go downhill from there. And within a month, you're taking this out of the theaters and throwing it on Disney Plus in an attempt to get some of your money back. That means this thing will crater at around 75 domestic, and maybe not that much more internationally. It'd be like 150 million worldwide. Oofa. Oofa. Even if they only spent 250 million on this thing, that's about 100 mil down the tubes. Like, and that's just on the budget. That's not even the PR, which is, I mean, it's got to be, I don't know, $500 million. How much PR, how many cuts of this trailer have you seen? I've seen like 4. That's, they have to pay them. Ardent, Stormy says I'm whiny when I'm sick. And also, hello. Hello, Stormy. I don't know. He's not whining on the chat. I want to tell a story. All right, I'll tell it like this. So I was with somebody who accused men of like not dealing with sickness well, and this person I was with got very sick, and I took care of them. And then I got sick, like a year later, and I was in bed for one day. And I asked for, like, I don't know, a drink or something. And she went, and I was like, I waited on you hand and foot for a while, I'll say. And you give me attitude. I wanted a drink. I'm not complaining. I just don't feel like getting up out of bed because I'm sick. Yeah. That's a weird thing. Ardent, well deserved. Maybe that will teach Disney a lesson. Ardent, LOL, I've got a bit of an ENT infection and just using excuse to be baby. Nice. JC, sounds like a keeper, Tony. Yeah, well, I know how to pick them, don't I? But anyhow, Marvel's is done. So done. I look forward to see how many movies beat the Marvels. I wonder if Next Goal Wins will beat the Marvels. So imagine you put out a movie and it goes from number 1, and then the second week it drops down to 4 or 5. That's awful. That's not going to look good. Maybe that's why Disney pushed it back to this week, because then they could say, well, it was up against so many different movies, which it's rare. The entire Hollywood went on strike. They hardly have any movies to release, and yet they decided to release all these movies the same week. Doesn't seem like a good strategy. But I guess we're trying to lean into next week, which is Black Friday, which is typically a big movie weekend. But I don't know. Ardent, if they release any other Marvel movie, it would probably beat the Marvels. Oh, I don't think Young Avengers will. Ardent, certainly any phase 1 or 2. Well, yeah, if they were of that quality. But they're way past that. You know, they're talking Young Avengers. That movie doesn't stand a chance. That looks... who wants to see it? Who is it even for? Young Avengers. That's not something that has any kind of audience that I can see. You know, at least if you followed the comic, you'd have a few 10,000 people maybe, I don't know, who read the comic. Maybe. And maybe you could get a little mileage out of the MCU's name and Avengers for... There's still people who do watch this stuff, believe it or not. JC, you want new stuff in theaters for the holidays. It's true, but it's all up against each other. Why not spread it out? Why not... I mean, nothing dropped last week other than the Marvels. You might as well released against it. You know, something like Thanksgiving, which is a horror movie, you could have released it against the Marvels because the audiences don't have that much overlap, I would say. But, and you could release it next week, or you could release it on Wednesday. You release these movies whenever you want. There are no rules. They could release it on a Tuesday. JC, maybe if they put Spider-Man in the Young Avengers, it'll save it. Oh, it absolutely would, but they won't. And which Spider-Man do you put in there? The Tom Holland Spider-Man? I don't think Sony's going to allow that. I mean, they might do another cameo. Ardent, LOL, not likely. Yeah, I mean... This is another thing. Like, Disney bought Marvel and they didn't get Spider-Man. That was pretty dumb move, Disney. Pretty dumb move. But, I don't know. Disney's nothing but dumb moves these days. It's pretty bad. But, I was discussing this at the show. Because I had a little bit of a break. And I was saying that maybe Bob Iger's trying to tank Disney. So when they sell it, you know, Apple can buy it for a song. And then maybe they'll somehow reward Iger. Even though that would be highly illegal, I believe. But at that level, these guys run amok. I mean, Tim Cook was just at that stupid meeting in San Francisco with Z. So... Ardent, Young Avengers is just going to tank. Kraven the Hunter would beat it. Yeah, I don't... And Kraven the Hunter's probably going to tank, too. I mean, who's that for? It was bad enough they were making not Batman shows. Oh, here's another not Batman show. Oh, is Batman in it? No. But some of his friends are. You won't see Batman, but you might hear about him. Oh, it sounds exciting. But Batman won't be in it? No, no way. So this is, you know, it'll just be not Spider-Man. Hi, welcome to Kraven. He's a Spider-Man villain. Oh, so is Spider-Man coming? No. It's a not Spider-Man movie. Oh. But we might talk about Spider-Man. We might hint at the future, but you won't actually see Spider-Man, and there won't be any interaction with him. Ardent, Craven is for guys like me who like the villains more than the heroes. I guess. I mean, I like Craven in that final comic where they killed him off. That was a really good one. But you know what? These characters have become too important. There, I said it. Back in the day, again, they would just create these things. Guys at Marvel, the Marvel bullpen, they were just creating stuff left and right. Jack Kirby, mostly. Creating stuff. Hey, I got this guy. He's a crazy hunter dude. I call him Craven. Oh, Craven the Hunter. Oh, okay, that sounds cool. I like the design. Yeah, let's put him in the next issue. And he'd be in it, and, you know, he'd be popular. They had a bunch of other guys that weren't popular. Like the Hypno Hustler, which they were trying to develop for Donald Glover for some insane reason. But, you know, just random stuff off the top of their heads because they were talented guys. Given the track record, not a Fantastic Four movie based on Doctor Doom would appeal to me. Don the Second is here. How we doing? How you doing? JC, Craven was Ditko? Or was it John Romita? I think Craven came later, so it was probably John Romita, right? I don't think Craven was an early one. Let us see. Place your bets. Ramita? ST? Let's see. Craven the Hunter? Blah, 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 blah. He appeared in Spider-Man 15. Oh, he was an early hero. Okay. Who was he created by? Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. There he is. Okay. So it was Ditko. Issue 15, yeah. Huh. I thought he was a little later. But, oh, senior. You meant senior. Ah, I get it. JC, first 35 issues or so are Ditko. Yeah, the guy was a genius. And he's got some non-Marvel comics that he drew after he left, or I don't know, like post-Marvel. They're pretty wild. Razor Fist posted one the other day. It's all about his, he was really into objectivism, and he would do comics sort of based on that. Ardent, I lost the point on that one. JEC, Mr. A. Mr. A. That was that his character? Oh, okay. Yes. There it is. Wow, look at those word balloons. Jesus. That guy talked a lot. Well, you can see why he kind of wasn't as popular. Blah, 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 blah. But I wasn't referring to this necessarily, but he did some other stuff. Oh, they got a bunch of stuff listed here. Cool. I'll have to check this out. I don't think I've ever read one of these. Wears armored gloves and full head armored mask for protection. Proficient in hand-to-hand combat. Mr. A. Ardent. Mr. Lefty Meme, more like. No, he was inspired by objectivism. JEC, that was Ditko's indie objectivist superhero who was basically a more hardcore version of the Question. Oh, neat. Mr. A's power is deliberately knowing what is right and acting accordingly. Where other heroes choose to be self-made neurotics, the Question and Mr. A chose to be psychologically and intellectually healthy. Interesting. I'm gonna have to check this out. JC, when people talk about Ditko's crazy, they're inside indie comics. They're talking about Mr. A. No, this one was not Mr. A, but it was about this stuff, and it wasn't crazy. It was like it talked about how media is manipulating people and how television is bad for you, that kind of thing. But it was from an objectivist slant. So cool. But getting back to the terrible heroes of the Marvels, and even the Holdovers, which I didn't think would do very well, looks like it's doing okay, at least on Friday. It's number 7, and it's not even in half as many theaters as the Marvels. So, but the Holdovers, I think, would be pretty watchable because Paul Giamatti's in it, and he's kind of funny. Five Nights at Freddy's drops the 6th, although its actual box office only dropped to 69%, although still that's kind of a big drop off. But it's been out 3 weeks, so. And so far making more money than the Marvels. Yeah, I think Five Nights at Freddy's will beat the Marvels. That's pretty crazy considering, it's a much smaller movie. I'm sure they didn't spend half the money they spent on the Marvels on Five Nights at Freddy's. Ardent, Paul Giamatti is still my favorite Rhino. Yeah, I didn't see that, but I don't know. That was not the right role for him. Who could have been the Rhino? Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista would have been a good Rhino. Instead of, if he wasn't already Drax, but someone like that, someone big like that would have to be the Rhino. Not Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti, who could he have been? He should have been J. Jonah Jameson. He could do that, definitely. He's got the energy and the anger for that. He could have probably done... I would have let him do the Scorpion. Scorpion was kind of like that. Because he was kind of like just a criminal with a crazy superpowered suit. I would like to see the Scorpion come into the mix. Ardent. Depends. Are you talking about somebody with someone acting range to play the tragic Rhino or just someone who's bulky? Someone who's bulky. JC, I like the idea of the Rhino being a mech suit. Terrible performance, though. Was it a mech suit initially? I thought it was. It was some kind of suit in the comic, and then it bonded to him and he couldn't get it off. I don't know. He was a big dopey guy, though, and I think Giamatti can play a smarter guy than that. Bautista would have been cool to see him run around. Like, Bautista could have been the Hulk, right? He could have been Hulk Smash. Because, he's just a stupid muscle guy. And he's just a big muscle guy. I mean, he was pretty good as Dax. I got to give it to him. That first movie is very funny. Ardent, give the guy who played Reacher a Russian accent. Yeah, he could do Rhino too, but I wouldn't put him in that role. He's another guy. He's really good at Reacher. JC, the movie, the Rhino, is a mech suit he drives around. Ardent, Rhino was like Blue Devil. Still a suit. Yeah. I think it got stuck to him, though. And that was part of his deal. He was angry about that. Ardent. There is a rhino in the new Craven. Oh. That's interesting. I didn't know Rhino was in that. Huh. Maybe? That could be interesting if they're going to go to Spider-Man. Like, I could see maybe one movie. If you had released it close enough to Spider-Man and somehow tied it into Spider-Man, like, if Craven had made an appearance in the Tom Holland Spider-Man, what was the last one? Not the multi-universe one, but the one before that. Like, he just makes an appearance. And some of the fallout from that movie is a consequence of the Craven movie. So there's some sort of payoff. Ardent, but he's a shifter. Oh, okay. What is a shifter? Is that a new thing? Or is that tied to, like, something else? Ardent, shapeshifters, sorry for the shorthand. Maybe. I mean, it's hard to explain in movie terms, but if you had some fallout from the previous Spider-Man movie, so it could be almost a setup for this movie, and then it should have come out like right on the heels of the last Tom Holland Spider-Man, maybe a year after, would have been awesome. But instead, we're going to get Madam Web. Oh, that looks awful. That looks effing awful. Talk about a not Spider-Man movie. There's so many not Spider-Man characters in this thing. And it just looks dopey as hell. It just looks like CW's Spider-Man. No one cares about Madam Web. No one cares about Spider-Woman, Ezekiel, or all these characters. They were all little side characters in the Spider-Man universe that no one gives an S about. You can try to jam them into cartoons. You could try to astroturf them all you want. No one cares about these characters. Spider-Man is a perfect example of a character you probably should not spin off any of the characters, really. But at least Craven was there. You know, at least Craven was popular enough. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't greenlight it, but I can at least see that. Ardent, didn't Sony buy the Sinister Six, so there might be a Vulture movie coming? See, that would be cool, because Michael Keaton's the Vulture. And he lived. So yeah, I'd like to see that. The Vulture, Mysterio could come back. Could throw him in there. I forget the other members, but let's see more Spider-Man and less of not Spider-Man. I mean, how hard is it to make Spider-Man? The movie's so damn popular. It's like, oh, we don't want to make too much money. It's like, Jesus. Keep making Spider-Man. While Tom Holland is still young, keep making Spider-Man. Don the Second. Man, Marvel really dropped the ball. They did. The Marvels is awful. Ardent. A Green Goblin movie would be cool, maybe, with William Dafoe again. I don't think he could sustain the whole movie by himself. Again, he's great in the role. I liked him in the whole multiverse thing, and he really played the insane part right, where he comes for help but then cracks later. I mean, a lot of actors can't pull that off, but he did. So, Don the Second, Spider-Man isn't woke enough. Oh, they're trying in the comics. They're really ruining him in the comics. Holy cow. They cucked him and gave, I don't know, Mary Jane a boyfriend or whatever, or she's married to somebody else and he's putting up with it. So awful. So awful. Then they killed off Ms. Marvel, and Spider-Man was there for that. And everybody's like acting like she was the greatest hero ever. And then they didn't even keep her dead long enough for the body to go cold. They brought her back like within months. It was so stupid. Why would you announce one of your big characters that's appearing in a movie is dying and then bring her back? It's just stupid. Don the Second. The scary part is they have a decent amount of time to turn it around, but the talent is fleeting. Don the Second, Spider Cuck. Yes, Spider Cuck does whatever his wife's boyfriend says. I mean, it's disgraceful. But these are the ladies of Marvel. Oh, the ladies of Marvel, they know comics. They're going to make them for girls. And you men you're just a bunch of misogynists, so you'll have to like it. No, we won't. We'll stop reading them. We'll let you destroy comics and go read other comics. I haven't bought a new comic in God knows how long. And I was pretty much out of the mainstream stuff even when I was still buying. You kind of go through those phases. You start out with, when you're a little kid, you start out with Archie. Usually gravitate to Marvel thereafter, and then you get to DC, and then from there you usually spin into independent comics, and then never come back to superheroes because they get old and boring after a while. It doesn't matter. They rotate through the villains 2 or 3 times. They keep bringing the same IPs back, and you just go, oh God. The Joker's back again? This is like the 4th time. I'm going to read something else. They're doing Joker Year 1. If anybody wants to see that, how a crazy, insane person started out his crazy, insane career of murdering people. I don't think that's a good idea. It's different with Batman. He kind of had a plan and, wasn't a horrible murderer. I don't know what you're going to learn in Joker Year 1. Other than you're probably going to be sick of the Joker. To me, the best incarnation of the Joker was the Joker before he started murdering people wantonly. He was better off. I think the Batman animated series captured the kind of best Joker because he was just an absolute D-bag. He would occasionally kill someone and was kind of crazy, but he was also a gangster. He had a girlfriend. There was something there for him to play against. Even in the comics, they created such a relentless drive for him to murder people. It just became too much. They upped the ante too much. You got to be very careful with that. JC, Mark Hamill was the best Joker. He was, I have to admit. He does a good voice. They did one, like the final Joker was the Joker dies during I think they bring him back in Batman Beyond, I think. I want to say it's a sequel like that where somehow the Joker died with some kind of cybernetic thing, and his personality is like imbued in this chip, and then later Tim Drake uses the chip and he becomes the Joker. He gets sort of possessed by him. It's sort of like a technological possession, I think. If you saw this episode, It was really good. And then so they bring back Hamill to do the voice, and in the end they defeat the Joker, and it's Tim Drake, but he was possessed. Ardent, Cesar Romero, best Joker for me. He was very good as well. Different, more fun, live action. Again, he didn't kill. Like that Joker was not a homicidal maniac. JC, I think Jason Todd was involved in the Batman Beyond thing, or maybe it was Jason Todd then. I thought it was Tim Drake on that one. Well, maybe it was Jason. That was a good one, though. It was the last thing that they ever did, I think, in that timeline with the original Joker. Yeah, that was the best. The animated series and Batman Beyond. You're not going to get anything better than that, I don't think. You know, they had a real plan. They went forward with it. They did good stuff. They did good work. The rest of this stuff, it's okay. Now and again they get something right, but JC, I thought they made a Red Hood Batman Beyond movie, brought Jason Todd into it. Oh, no, this was something else that I was talking about. I don't know. I didn't see that one. Maybe. I don't know. The Red Hood was like a throwback. They need new villains. The one thing I would do if I ran DC or Marvel Comics. Oops.
It is what it is.
Oops. Don't know how I did that. There it goes. I would put besides resetting everything so it was back to normalcy and firing all the woke morons, I would set a 2-year moratorium on the villains. No old villains for at least 2 years, maybe 5. And force all the creative types to come up with new villains. And just bombard the fans with new villain after new villain for a long time until you don't even remember the new villain or the old villains. And then I would slowly lift the moratorium and say, okay, now you can start throwing them in, but very slowly. And you got to come up with a good reason why they were away and all that good stuff. Ardent, I like the Court of Owls. Seemed like a good new idea. Yeah, a lot of people like that. They need more of it, though. Like every single issue. The other problem is they need better comics. Comics need to be longer. I say 100 pages, $5. Not one story, but 5 issues jammed into one comic. An anthology of Batman every month. 5 issues, $5. And you could even reprint an old issue now and again to, harken back to the day and show some old character and how he started. I would just start cranking that stuff out. All new villains, all day long. But you're not going to see it, unfortunately. They just don't want to do the paperwork. It's what I was told. And they would rather revamp all these old guys anyway. Which is why you get the Red Hood again. You get the Red Hood, I think, because DC owns the Red Hood. He's an old villain. They own him lock, stock, and barrel. They're not paying any royalties on him. They love him. Yep, bring back the Hood, the Red Hood, all day long. Oh, new guy? We got to pay royalties on him. Oh, if he gets popular, we'll be paying royalties. No. Make the guys we already own popular. That's the money, unfortunately, I think. But getting back to movies. Not much else to talk about in the box office. If I end up doing a live stream tomorrow, which I will try to do, if I get back in time. I don't know. I may get back. I don't know when. it depends on how the day goes. I can't really go into why, but either I'll be back at like 4 and I might as well just do a live stream at normal time, or I won't be back until like 2 in the morning, and there's no point in me doing a live stream. So I don't know when I'm going to do my videos tomorrow. Jeez, might have to do some tonight. So I got a lot of videos to make today. But let's get into some trade stuff. Songbirds and Snakes slithers to #1 spot. Who cares about this movie? God. I picture people going to see a movie like this. Like, they're just people who just don't really see enough movies to know what's good. Right? It's like somebody who never goes out to eat, and you take them to like a Chili's, right? And it's Chili's is better than fast food, but it's not as good as like a real restaurant, let's say, right? So you take them to Chili's and they're like, wow. And it's like, it's because they never go to restaurants, right? That's the only argument I can think that you would go, wow, if you were in a Chili's. Like, I've eaten at Chili's. I'm just picking on Chili's because I need an example. So, it's just my opinion. But it's not great. Ardent, one new villain idea for Batman, the Schuster, a devious ambulance chaser who files suit after suit against the city of Gotham for not stopping Batman's vigilantism, eventually causes the GCPD to stop working with Batman to avoid bankruptcy. Don the Second, Chili's goes hard, bro. But, like, you see what I'm saying, right? Like, you know, Chili's bring you, like, your tortillas in a little warmer, and they're like, oh, they're bringing the tortillas in a warmer. Wow. And you're just like, yeah, they do that in other restaurants, like high-end restaurants. And like, oh, I've never been to those. That's what it, like, to me, people who go to see terrible movies, that's what they're like to me. Ardent, the Shyster, GD Fat Thumbs. Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be fun. So, like a lawyer character. See, that's different, right? He's suing Batman and going after him. He could be part of, like, a team of villains. Don the Second. Yeah, it's definitely middle of the road. So, and it's a prequel, too. God, I hate prequels. This was big news today. Elon Musk is suing Media Matters. Now, if you don't know what Media Matters is, it's this left-wing organization, and they have a website, and they just go after anybody even remotely conservative now. Back in the day, when they first started, they kind of were sort of under the radar, sort of trying to look balanced, but that quickly fell away, and they're very combative. And they go after all kinds of people. But only on the right. And they're one of these organizations that just, at this point, I think a lot of organizations, all they do is go after conservatives and call them Nazis and whatever. Media Matters, he sues Media Matters over reports that found ex-Twitter ads ran next to pro-Nazi white pride posts. And I don't even think that's true. I've never seen any of that stuff on Twitter. Like, never seen it. The only thing I saw, there's a guy who had a Twitter account that kept announcing, I'm going to say the N-word. And then, like, he kept teasing people that he was going to say it over and over again. I don't think he ever did. But that word flies on Twitter. God forbid you do a search of that, the N-word on Twitter. A bunch of them will come up. in a lot of posts. So, and this is back in the old regime too. This is not like underneath Elon. This isn't a recent development. Oh no. This goes all the way back to the days of Jack Dorsey's. Ardent, Media Matters absolutely stalks Crowder's chat. Ardent, what's wrong with being proud to be white? Well, nothing. But it's like when they say white pride, it the implication is racism. That's the implication. They've turned that word into meaning something that's racist. So, you know, people should be proud of their heritage, I would say, but I don't know about proud of their skin color. That seems weird and odd. It's like saying I'm pro tan, I'm pro olive skin. It's weird. Like you're pro Italian, okay, I guess. It's weird even to say that. I mean, look, and that stuff, it's not illegal to say that stuff in the United States. It is in some other countries now. But in the United States, you can say whatever the hell you want. Because that's the First Amendment. Unless you're threatening somebody. If you're threatening somebody, that's illegal. But other than that, or if you're defaming someone, that's not illegal, but it's actionable. But yelling fire in a crowded theater, even that's protected. But if someone gets hurt, you're liable. Ardent, pro freckles. So if they just went back to freedom of speech, we had these knuckleheads in the past, and they had freedom of speech, and they would say stupid things, and everybody would go, boo! Get lost, you're an a-hole! And then they'd leave, and that would be it. How women became the backbone of the WGA Strike Captain Network. So now we're going back in time to give credit to women for things that have already accomplished. Well, that's a smarter move than, you know, just supporting a movie blindly like the Marvels and then watching it fail. Like if you go back in time to something that was successful and say, well, that was us. That makes a little more sense. I don't know how true that is. Maybe it's true. I mean, who cares? It's over. The strike's over. I mean, you already got Fran Drescher as the president. I don't know. I think the AI stuff probably isn't going to work out for the actors. Let's see. Wes Anderson, how Asteroid City star Jason Schwartzman helped inspire his latest film. Does that mean Asteroid City or another film? I really wanted to see Asteroid City, but man, it got creamed. So I'm waiting for it to show up on the streaming somewhere. I did like the Grand Budapest Hotel. I still haven't seen the French Dispatch. That kind of came and went. Oh, come on. What the? All right, I'm getting off this site. Going to the Hollywood Reporter. How TMZ became Hollywood's Grim Reaper? After being tipped on Matthew Perry's death, the site's close ties to law enforcement and habit of paying sources gets new scrutiny. Oh boy, they didn't like your coverage of the Matt Perry thing. Yee. Well, in my view, they've always been scum. I mean, pretty much everybody in Hollywood hates TMZ, I think, because they're paparazzos. They go after everybody for everything. Oh, TMZ gets you in their sites. You're in trouble. You better make sure you close your windows and drapes, and all your friends are are actually your friends, because that's how I don't know, one of the country stars got caught. I think he dropped an M-bomb uh, in a private conversation, and one of his friends like leaked the video or something. Um, and it wasn't like he was. I forget how he used it, but it wasn't. It wasn't like he was trying to be racist. I forget what he said exactly. I'm trying to remember. But anyhow, it was a private conversation. Like, it's one thing to say that, it's another to say it in private conversation with. There was another person who did that too. The wife of some rich sports sports team owner, one of the basketball. I want to say the Lakers, maybe one of the Lakers owners. Ardent Hulk Hogan got that treatment. Yeah, like, I don't think private conversations should be leaked. Number one, unless they're saying something illegal, or unless they're, you know, there's racist, or there's racism, and then there's racist. Like, some guy who's going to join some racist organization and hurt people. Yeah, I think you should expose him immediately. Some guy who's making some terrible joke or offhand comment in the privacy of his own home, I think you're kind of crossing a line there. You don't have to be friends with the guy. I don't get these people who cozy up to you and then videotape your private conversations. It seems weird. But it must be a real problem if you're famous. So, you think famous people would just say, you know what? I'm not going to be racist around people I don't really know all that well. I'll be racist later when I'm alone. Let's see. Edgar Wright talks The Long Road to Scott Pilgrim takes off and the key to franchise storytelling. Oh, this is something that everybody's talking about. I know you guys probably aren't into Scott Pilgrim, or maybe are, but they launched Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which is an anime based on the Scott Pilgrim comic book. For those of you who don't know, it was that Michael Cera movie, but it was initially the comic book. But the comic itself was had kind of an anime look. Not really. It was sort of halfway between anime and American sort of art. Anyhow, the movie initially was more like the comic, which was about Scott battling the exes of Ramona, the girl he was in love with. And I think they all had superpowers. I don't know if it was imagined or what. Anyhow, Scott Pilgrim's Takes Off is a woke version of that, where Scott either dies or leaves in the first episode, and so it follows Ramona, and instead of Scott battling the exes, her ex-boyfriends, she battles her ex-boyfriends. It sounds like the most woke-tarded bait and switch I've ever heard of. Ardent, oh good, I won't get subjected to that then. Good. Yeah, it doesn't look good. And I'm shocked that Edgar Wright had anything to do with it. Because I like some of his movies. But I guess he's caught up in the woke cult too? I don't know. Just seems disappointing. And I don't even like Scott Pilgrim. It's like, why would you betray your fans that way? Oh, you know what? We'll get rid of the main character and make it all about his girlfriend. Hey, you want to see the latest Spider-Man series? Yeah, it's called Spider-Man Takes Off. In the first episode, Spider-Man leaves, and it's all about Mary Jane. Oh, sounds great. Want to see Gilligan's Island? Yeah, in the first episode, all the men die on the island, and Ginger and Mary Ann have to fight for survival. Ardent, Edgar Wright needs to do another Baby Driver type flick. Yeah. He needs to stop listening to Hollywood. This also dropped. Robert Kirkman claims Marvel Studios will race swap Sentry with actor Stephen Ewing. Now, Stephen's a good actor. I'm sure they could come up with a character for him to do, make a new one, or I don't know, find one that would match him. Why the Sentry? The Sentry is like a blonde Nordic-looking dude. But beyond that, why even do the Sentry? The Sentry wasn't a major character. I mean, like, are they just digging through the IPs? What? I already answered this question a million times. Of course they are. They're just digging through the IPs and just picking the dumbest and the least popular ones at this point. Ardent, they're going to race swap. God, drives me nuts. Hold on, I got to do something to make the chat go up so I can see the other words. There we go. They're going to race swap who for what? Wahahaha. Even Stormy is laughing her A off. Yeah. He doesn't look like the Sentry. I mean, at the very least, get a muscle guy. You know? But another guy they were going to do was Wonder Man, which was dumb, but they canceled it, thankfully. The word is they're not going to do Wonder Man, but they race swapped him too. They were going to get the guy from Black Manta, the guy who played Black Manta in Aquaman. He was going to be Wonder Man. Which is already like, he's already in a superhero movie. I don't think it's, and he's a villain. I don't think that's a good switch, number one. Number two, I don't think he was muscular enough for Wonder Man. Wonder Man was kind of a bodybuilder type. Ardent, he's about half as tall. Yeah, he's kind of small for a superhero too. Be like casting Tom Cruise in the role. You know, I would have cast, for Power Man, any big muscly guy would have been good. Alan Rickman would have been good for Power Man or Wonder Man. He would have been great for that. Because he looks like a movie star. You put him in sunglasses, he is Wonder Man. He looks just like him. But instead they cast the guy who played Black Manta. I was just like, yeah, he's not really right for it. Jonathan Majors wasn't right for Kang, really. He was just, I don't know. I don't think he was right for it. But part of it is there are certain agencies who have relationship with the studios, and they sometimes pick actors and they love them, and there's no sensible reason why, really, other than they've just decided to anoint a particular actor. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was one of those anointed ones. Remember when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in everything? Like you couldn't go to the movies. Oh, there's another Rock movie coming out? Jesus. That was him. He was anointed. I don't know what agency he was with, but man, they did a phenomenal job. He was in everything for a while. And so sometimes it's just like that. Right, Joan? Joan is griping behind me. What do you want? Okay, get in your bed. Good doggy. All right, sit there. Ardent gave up on KOTOR. Knights of the... I'm not sure what that is. They really don't want to save Star Wars. Oh, Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, sorry, I'm moving on to the. I'll get to the next headline. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic remake reportedly not being worked on right now. Yeah, no, they shouldn't. They should cancel it all. Star Wars needs to go on the shelf for like 20 years. The rumor is they're going to do they're going to recast Han, Luke, and Leia, but they're going to do a storyline with Admiral Thrawn, which is from the series of books, and so they're going to recast them and then do a trilogy based on those books, which I think will probably be a disaster. So, Ardent, sorry, skipping ahead. No, it's good you're pushing me forward. I got to get going here. Star Trek actor LeVar Burton threatens to physically assault members of Moms for Liberty who don't want small children reading sexually explicit material in school libraries. LeVar Burton has really gone woke, I think. It's sad. It's sad to see, especially on an issue like this. It's clear to me, and look, I'm a very anti-censorship guy. I don't want books banned, but I also don't want children to have access to pornography. Ardent, Heir to the Empire was good series. Watch them work it. Or woke it. Hold on. So work it or woke it. Watch them wokeify it. Yes. Yes. Sorry, there's a heart emoji that blocks part of the chat. It drives me nuts. So yeah. So LeVar Burton, it's just sad. I don't know if he realizes what he's defending, but I don't think he does. I think he just reflectively goes with his politics, and he just assumes, well, they're a bunch of Republicans. They must hate words. And Democrats are so wonderful and nice. I have to support him because I'm in Hollywood, I guess. I don't know. But it's clear. I mean, all you have to do is look at some of these very graphic novels they're putting in schools. And you just wonder. When I was a kid in school, we used to go to the encyclopedia and look up the reproductive cycles and laugh at the illustrations in that. And those were clinical illustrations, cutaways of ovaries and genitals and stuff, and we would point to it and laugh and make fun of it. But I mean, if we had half the stuff that's in schools now, oh my God, we would either we'd all have been suspended for laughing at them, or I don't know what. I mean, it's like you're warping little minds. Ardent, yeah, the heart emoji is a PETA. PETA and then J. Sorry, I keep hitting the colon so I can push up the chat up by one so I can see the end of your sentence. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Here, Wonder Man actors were told that's it. They're not going to do it. Good news. Guillermo del Toro is casting Frankenstein. Although the weird thing is, it looks like Andrew Garfield will be Dr. Frankenstein or the monster. I'm not sure. No, I think Oscar Isaac is Dr. Frankenstein, and Andrew Garfield will be the monster. Ardent, pain in the A, yes. And Christopher Waltz is in it too. So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be classic. He'll probably get closer to the book. Let's see. Oh, this was a big story this week too. Pedro Pascal has been tapped to play Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four, because Kevin Feige thought the cast was way too white. So, once again, I mean, I can't think of anything more racist than that. Kevin Feige is being racist by saying that, in my view. I mean, to say something like that, change the word white to any other race, and you got a huge problem on your hands. Ardent, Garfield for the monster? Odd choice. Yeah, I thought so too, but he's a really good actor, so... I mean, after Spider-Man No Way Home, and Guillermo del Toro is a really good director, so it could be good. I think they're going to go with a more they're not going to go with a Universal monster movie Frankenstein. They're going to go with the original book, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Ardent, the thing is fringing orange. Don the Second, token Mexican. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. And then on top of that, they're going to make Sue Storm the real leader of the Fantastic Four. It just sounds like it's going to be total trash. Total hot garbage right out the gate. So, good. Maybe this will finally kill Pedro Pascal's career, and he'll stop being woke and stop, he said a bunch of woke crap, too. So... But there's some imaginary fan base that these execs think exists. And they're chasing it, boy. They're chasing it right down a rat hole. Let's see. Bleeding Fool, Dwayne Johnson confirms live-action Moana is his next film. I guess. Again, Disney, I don't know why you do this. DreamWorks co-founder expects AI to replace 90% of animators in 3 years. Whoa. Goodbye, animators. And hello, a lot of competition. Because once you're able to do that, and once you're able to take that software and have everybody else make their own damn cartoons, you're effed, Disney. DreamWorks. You might as well just stop making this stuff. Because the moment I can make my own cartoons, they're going to be awesome. And yours are going to be, I don't know, woke and full of crap, I assume. I mean, how many Kung Fu Pandas are you going to make? How many times are you going to make Moana or whatever? Lilo and Stitch. Dune Part 2 is going to be released next year. Don the Second, I'm actually excited for that. Lots of creativity will be unlocked. Possibly, yeah. I'm wondering how they're going to... I think what they may do is create a situation where if you make something on their platform, they get some sort of partial ownership. But I'd be okay with that up to a point, right? So if I'm using your platform and I have full access to it, unless I'm paying for it. If I'm paying for it, it's my tool. I bought it from you or I'm renting it from you. You get nothing, but they're going to probably create it in such a way that you need their platform to even play it. So once you have that, yeah, I'd be fine with giving them a small percentage or whatever. Ardent, I've been thinking about a new career. AI animation appeals to me. Yeah, I'd make a Pineys animated thing. Sure, why not? Be fun. Probably take me forever, but I'll wait until the software is upgraded. I'd give it 5 years. But who knows where we'll be then? Trolling the radioactive waste for cans of food and bottle caps. Over Cosmic Book News. More about the Marvels. More about the Fantastic Four. The Flash costume designer is going to be on it. Oh boy, that ought to help. Superman Legacy leaks reveal plot and villain. Place your bets. All right. What is it? What is it? Here is the leak. Heard some stuff about Superman Legacy. I trust the source, but the stuff's always fuzzy. Superman's early in his career and isn't widely known. His big public reveal happens in the Middle East, where terrorists have gotten a hold of Kryptonian tech. Okay. Waller and Sam Lane send the Authority to investigate. Oh, God, the Authority's going to be in it? They believe Superman is responsible. Superman learned of the tech in the Fortress of Solitude. I already hate this. And hopes it will be the missing puzzle to discover where he comes from. Anyway, the big bad is Brainiac behind everything. As said in the first post, I trust the source. Okay. Well, that's not a bad one, but man, that sounds convoluted. Ardent, Stormy and I are going to bed now. Long day. Have a good night. See you tomorrow if you're on. Good night, Ardent. Yeah, I'm not going to go much longer anyway, but thank you. Thank you for tuning in. So, Brainiac. Brainiac's a good villain. It's a bit convoluted, though, but we'll see. I mean, you're going to throw the Authority in there, too. Nobody knows who they are. It's just going to be like, oh, here's another superhero team. Over at Deadline, Creed 4 in the works. Michael B. Jordan back to direct. I mean, he's a good actor. I think he directed the third one, didn't he? So maybe. Here's Justine Bateman again on her concerns with SAG-AFTRA deals, AI protections, and loopholes. See, I told you there'd be tons of loopholes in the deal because the studios want to replace the actors. They want to make, again, the stuff you see on TV is such crap. The stuff that it's like television you put on just to have noise in the room. But that is an old paradigm, I think, too. You know, you can put on YouTube videos that are just noise and that are literally just noise or that are just, animals in the wild for 2 hours, or some dudes working on a woodworking project and you just hear the noise in the background and you kind of watching it out of the corner of your eye while you're doing something else on the computer. Like, AI can't really make anything that good. It's soulless. But it can be used as a tool for things like extras. Not now. It's still not good now. They've tried it already. They're already doing it. That's the best part. Good luck figuring it out. So if you got a shot from a mile away and there's 40,000 people and they used AI to generate them, how are you going to know? How are you going to prove it in the court of law? The only thing you could do is force the studios, I guess, to give up their budget and realize, hey, they didn't pay these people. I mean, what's the studio supposed to say? I guess they could say, oh, they didn't want any pay, and we never got their names, I guess. But if they're actual AI robots, it's not like they're ever going to show up and demand their money, so it's a perfect crime. They're going to eventually replace most of the actors. But ultimately, most of that crap won't be very good, and you're going to need actors anyway. You're going to need actors to emote, or you're going to need like a team of guys, which will be less efficient. You're going to need an entire team of guys to make an AI character and edit him to the point where he is acting as good as a real actor. But that's going to be a lot more time consuming, I think. AI won't be able to do it just like that. It'll get some of it, and you're going to have to keep editing and refining it until you get the actual moment you want. And that's going to take hours and hours and hours. It's going to be very tedious and tons of computer time. So it'll probably be easier to just hire some actors at some level. Now, what you could do, I think, is you could hire the actor, have him read the lines, act the lines, like in a booth, have the AI record all that, and then transpose his movements and expressions onto an AI dummy or robot or whatever you'd call it in the virtual world, where you could then also create the car chases and backgrounds and things. Annette Bening on the interesting and complicated woman at the center of Naiad. Okay, I don't think this movie's going to do any business, but You could pretend like it is, I guess. The Hunger Games star Rachel Zegler recalls meeting Jennifer Lawrence, jokingly wanting to strangle her for a photo. What? Rachel Zegler doesn't know how to act in public, apparently. It's like, Rachel, why don't you just shut your mouth and look cute and say the lines? In case you don't know it, there was a huge fire in LA underneath a freeway. This is known as the 10. And if you've never been to Los Angeles, let me tell you something. The 10 is one of the most important freeways in Los Angeles, which already has a terrible, terrible problem with traffic. Like during rush hour, the 10, along with every other road, backs up and is a parking lot for hours. Literally hours. You could be stuck on the 10 for hours. Now, part of it, a fire was underneath it, damaged the 10 to the point at which they're going to have to tear down like a section of it and remake it and redo the supports. That's going to be weeks, if not months. During that time, they're going to have to detour traffic off the 10, past the construction, and then back onto the 10 again. And let me tell you something, I wouldn't want to be in LA right now, because that's going to make the parking lot an even bigger parking lot. It's going to be a GD mess. Sharon Stone paid Leonardo DiCaprio, Russell Crowe salaries for The Quick and the Dead. Well, good for her. Good for her. She paid them out of her own salary so they would be in the movie. I never saw that movie. Was that any good? Anybody see it? Peacock backing documentary on alleged New York serial killer and his family. So apparently, I don't know if you guys know this, there's a serial killer suspect, Rex Heuermann. He was arrested by the cops, and his family has been under tight scrutiny, not because I think they did anything, but just because, you know, he was married and had a kid, and so like now their lives are ruined apparently. But they sold the rights to their story for a documentary because they don't think they'll ever be able to make money ever again, you know, in terms of the attention and the job situation. So people are talking about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because they didn't kill anybody. So, but they will probably be ostracized in some way. I think they just need to maybe change their last name and move, and then just pretend like, oh, we're not related to that Rex Heuermann. No, this is a different Rex Heuermann. Here's another movie they're talking about, probably because it's got LGBTQIA2S plus stuff in it. Bottoms director Emma Seligman on the joy of making a film with gay characters being gay, but that not having to be the plot. That was completely the plot of Bottoms, because the premise is it's about two lesbian high school students who start a fight club, and they're both into some of the hotter girls in the school and try to win them over. Or at least one does. So that is completely the plot of Bottoms. So I'm not sure what the hell she's talking about. Let's see. Oh boy, Dana Carvey's son had an overdose. That was terrible. So he's dead at 32. His son. That's a shame. It's unbelievable, but it happens. It was a drug overdose. It's awful. Poor Dana Carvey. He's had it rough, man. At the peak of his career, he had heart problems, and then think he had problems with the procedure he had, messed him up, and he was out of commission for years. Over at the Wrap, more on Hunger Games. Hunger Games prequel leads box office with 45 million as Marvel's plummets 79%. So this is probably an estimate for the Saturday numbers, although they probably have some of them. So it's looking pretty bad. That's pretty bad drop off. This sounds like Saturday numbers because Friday's numbers were 87% down. So that doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all. So 79% would be a drop of about 32 million. So you're looking at about 15 million for the Marvels tomorrow. That is awful. I will have to call you back. Okay. And in fact, I think that's it. I'm blowing up here. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it here. So final thoughts. Deepfake David Zaslav introduces WBD's newest process called shelving in a parody clip. Obvious fake video from the director behind Pay the Writers, You AI Holes. Plain stunt during writer strike. Oh. Okay. I'm not sure how that helps you, making fun of your boss so publicly. And plus Zaslav has publicly stated stuff like this. The writers were right about everything. Why would you make fun of the guy? At least outwardly supporting you. He probably isn't doing it in real life, but you look bad, but I think you look petty doing stuff like this. But anyway, what's going on? I'll be at Lucille's Luncheonette tomorrow from 10 to 2 if you're in South Jersey and Warren, New Jersey. And then I might be doing another live stream at 7 or 9 if I get home in time. Otherwise, next week's looking pretty wide open because of the holidays, and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nuts. All right. Any final thoughts? No? Okay. I'm gonna wrap it here. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. I got to deal with 2 dogs. I got to answer a phone call. I got to make a bunch of videos before I go to bed. So thank you all. As always, great to hear from you. JEC Don the Second back. Don the Second, who rediscovered me on Twitter because apparently I'm being suppressed in the algorithm. Don the Second, I'll see you at one of your signings one of these days, man. Yep. Hope to see you there. What else is coming up? I'll be at Chimney Ales in Hamilton on the 25th. That should be an interesting one. I'm juggling a couple of potential dates. Oh, I got to write a date on my calendar that I forgot to write. I'm doing going back to the Hamilton Mall on December 30th. I got to write that one down. All right. Adios, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.